Check 1, 2. 1,
Close
2.
to you.
I want to be close to you. Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.
This is beautiful.
Thank you so much.
You have a great voice. You are amazing singer, musician, producer. Play guitar. What else?
Yeah, play guitar. And I write songs. I write my own songs, and I write songs with other artists as well. And I also have a record company called Tree Music that's based in Los Angeles and Melbourne, Australia. And we work with different artists doing artist development and artist management. And yeah, I love music. I love the music industry, and I love songs. I think they're magical and they change the world.
I love your songs. I love your composing the melodies. It's beautiful. And I hope my English is good too.
Yes, it's perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Emma.
I love your music videos, the directing, the arranging of the music, your voice, everything is great. Tell us about your music and your music videos that you made in the past.
Sure. So the first project that I ever released, I released back in 2011, and the first single that came out was called Saved, and I have a video clip that goes with the song, and it was written as a response to an experience that I had. I was walking in the streets in my hometown in Melbourne, and someone in the street came up to me and wanted to give me a pamphlet and have a discussion with me about religion and about God and about how the world has come to be. And we were talking for a while, and I felt very much that they were trying to put their worldview onto me and telling me that I was going to burn in hell and all these other really friendly things that you say to strangers you meet in the street. And I felt like I was a bit frustrated by the experience of somebody coming into my world and my space and trying to tell me what to do with my life and trying to tell me what was right and what was wrong for myself. And so I wrote Saved as a response to that, like basically saying I won't be told how to live my life, and well, you're going to tell me this, or this is what I think of that, and also asking questions in response to, you're saying this, how do you know what you're saying is true? And so I wrote that song, and eventually I started writing a couple of other songs with it, under similar themes of talking about religion, or for myself, leaving my tradition, the Jewish tradition that I was brought up in. And so I had a whole collection of songs with this theme, and I called it an Atheist album, and I put it out into the world back in 2011. And the film clip for Saved is just me being a little pixie, I guess, running around London. We shot it in London, and we had a lot of scenes outside these beautiful old churches, like big stone churches, and it was really cool singing those words out loud. And sometimes there were people watching us, filming them and listening, and it felt so powerful and empowering to be able to challenge dogma, to challenge a religious authority with my own words and my own music. It's a very, very cool experience.
He said, Rasta, do you want to go fly in the sky? Rasta, don't you want to get high? And watch all your worries and your troubles pass you by. Rasta, don't you want to fly?
Since you talked about religion and your ideological thoughts, I noticed that you, tell me if I'm wrong or right.
Yeah.
I noticed that you are, or do you think that you are promoting the atheism, or?
Well, for me, I've always expressed myself and my worldview in the way that I see the world through my music. And so, when I used to be Jewish and I used to believe in that, I used to write, from that perspective and that experience. But since I've had a change of worldview where, to me, it's now become really important to have good reasons for what I believe and not just take people's word for it, especially about, you know, things that are really important to me. I want to decide for myself. I want to learn myself, and I want to be a critical thinker. And I think those values of evidence and reason and, you know, learning are so important to me in critical thinking. And I think that I really want to spread that message through my music of question everything, question the people around you. Don't just take things for granted. Find out what's really true for yourself. And so I definitely, you know, I reflect that in my music because that's the way that I'm looking at the world. I'm always being curious. I'm always wanting to find out, you know, where I'm wrong and how I can be closer to the accurate picture. I don't think I'll ever be 100%, but, you know, I want to be getting closer all the time. So those are the values and ideas that I put into my music. And then at the same time, I know that in different places around the world, identifying as an atheist or identifying as a non-believer or not affiliating with any religious group is something that can be really challenging. And depending on where you're from, it can be life-threatening. And so for me, I was proud to, to say, this is the way that I see the world. I am an atheist. I don't believe in any of the God concepts that have been, you know, put forward. And I don't believe. And I'm still a good person. And I still, I still love life. I still have a lot of joy. I have endless joy and awe in my life for everyday experiences. And so I felt that it's something important to say, you know, I'm an atheist and I make music and I am, you know, a good person, and to be that and to be out there in the public and giving the public an example of somebody who doesn't believe in God and is still, you know, friendly, happy, most of the time pretty nice person, I think is something that is really, really helpful to those communities to be represented in media, in art, and hopefully for people that share my worldview, they'll feel represented. And for people that don't share my worldview, it will be an insight into a different way of thinking, and also in humanizing of that perspective. And hopefully they won't be afraid of people that feel that way, and it will make the world a safer place to have a different way of seeing the world.
So you told me yesterday that you are appreciating the community, and that was part of your message, I think, or part of something like you would like to do for.
So I see that community can be a really valuable. Communities can be something really valuable, and I think, you know, as humans we crave communities, and I'm very grateful to the secular community, the humanist community, free-thinking community, atheist community, particularly in the United States, who have really supported me and my music. It's been an amazing way to connect with people when you have like a really specific shared experience, you know. So I was brought up with my tradition, and it was a really big part of my life, and then I questioned it and I walked away, and all the challenges that come with that of suddenly seeing the world in a different way to your family and friends, and having to, renegotiate mentally all the ways that you saw the world. I've written about that, and this is an experience that so many people are going through, especially here in the United States, but I think all around the world. And so it was really cool to connect with people that are, hearing in music this experience that they had that was very powerful and significant in their lives. And so by connecting that way to people, I've been able to connect with their communities their larger communities. And I've seen the way that, especially for people with this experience, they've been ostracized from their communities, from their religious communities, from their families. Often, people that were brought up depending on community now have nowhere to go. And so I'm very happy and glad that there are these secular communities to sort of be there for them and catch them and help them, with the things that we've come to expect from communities that we grow up in.
Do you have audience from religious community? And what do you feel if you have them?
I hope everybody listens to my music. But yeah, absolutely. I have many friends, and the closest people in my life to me are religious, and I think they like my music. Maybe they're lying to me because they're my family and friends and they have to say it. But no, I think even though if we're talking about in this specific thing, because I write about life in general, not only about these topics, but I think there's so much that we have in common that even somebody that maybe sees the world in a fundamentally different way to me, or thinks the world has come about in a completely different way to me, there's still so much in common in the human experience that I think that there's a lot that they will find in what I have to say that resonates. And some of my favorite times are spent staying up all night arguing with my friends about religion or debating different issues, and just really getting into what we think and seeing where we agree and where we don't. But yeah, I think music is universal in that way. I think it transcends those boundaries and distinctions that we like to draw so much as people. Some of my favorite music is religious music. I love one of my favorite artists growing up is Ben Harper. I used to go running and listening to him, like, I'll rise. It's like just the most religious music ever. And even like talking about Jesus, which is, not even familiar to me from when I was religious, but I just, I love it. It's so uplifting. I think the emotions and the drives behind those thoughts and feelings and ideas are the same, no matter what your perspective is.
Yeah. When I compose, sometimes it's a political song. Yeah. The lyrics, it's political, but still, because the melody is so sad, it reminds me something in my life, something with my father, someone I fell in love with, something sadness happened with me. So it's the memories. When I compose something, reminds me something else sometimes. Yeah. When you compose, do you do the same? Do you have the same memories, or it reminds you something? Or how do you compose your songs?
Okay.
Let's make it easy.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I totally, relate to what you're saying as well. Like, I think the personal is political. So I think when I'm singing about, my experiences as a woman in Judaism, it's, it's political. It's talking about feminism. It's talking about equality. It's asking for those things. But at the same time, it's reflecting on your personal experience, your relationship with your parents, your relationship, with your community. So I think definitely when I am really angry and worked up about a particular topic and I'm, getting political, I'm definitely reflecting on the personal as well. And then I think that there's layers to things, like, maybe I write the song in one mind, and then a few months later I sing it again and it reminds me of a different time in my life. And as I grow up and I get further along in my life and I have new experiences and I become a different person than who I was when I wrote that song, it takes on a new meaning as well. And when I perform live and people come up to me after the shows and they say, oh, this song, makes me think of my husband, and we divorced this many years ago, but I feel this way, and your song really spoke to me about that. Then all these people are telling me these little stories about my songs, and I feel like I carry them with me. And then sometimes, like a year later, I'll be on the other side of the world and I'll be singing that song, and that person that spoke to me will flash into my head, and I'll be thinking of their husband, this person of like, you know, I met one night, and I feel like I carry all those stories with me in my songs, which is an amazing feeling, and again, just an amazing way to be connected to so many different people. But when I write, you know, it's very emotion based. It's just like, what am I going through right now? It sort of helps me get things off my chest, what's been happening in my life, what's happening in the life of the people around me, how am I feeling. The last song that I started writing, I was just up in Yosemite National Park with my friends, and I was sitting in the park around a picnic table, and I suddenly had a vision in my mind, remembering my father talking to someone about the school that he sent me to. And I realized I never thanked my parents for my education. It just came in my head. And so I started writing a song about education. I know, you know, there are places in the world where women have to fight and risk their lives just to get. Girls are not allowed to have an education. And I was so grateful for the education I had, and the way that my parents sacrificed so much to give it to me, that I started writing about that. And that was another example of, you know, it's political, it's talking about education and access to education, but at the same time, just within my own life, of my love and relationship with my parents.
You want a skinny lover, you want a skinny lover, and that's perfectly fine, but it means
How you start to compose something, because yesterday I surprised when we started talking about the song. You said, well, the first question is, I ask someone about their stories happening in their life. That surprised me, and you show up with a paper and pen and getting ready for. I never seen a singer or composer like this way.
Really?
It's very beautiful. I mean, talk about it. How you compose something. I love that.
Well, I mean, it's, you know, it can be something different every time, and it often is. You know, I might have a cool little riff on the guitar that I really like, and I'll build around that, or I'll have, a melodic idea, or one lyric line, and even maybe I don't know what it means, but I'll keep singing it until it means something, and then sometimes it all comes out together. But as you mentioned earlier, I do prefer to start a song with a concept. You know, I love knowing what it is that I want to say, and then trying to find the way to say it. And when I write with other artists, yes, I like to talk to them about what they're going through in their life, and then when they're speaking, I start taking notes and I write down. That's the ingredients of the song, is how they're feeling and the words that they've used to describe how they feel, and then I use that to sort of build the lyrics and the story. And I think it's really important when I'm writing with another artist for it to be in their words, because I know what it's like to be on stage and singing my own words, that I feel like I've gotten to a point where I'm perfectly expressing something about the way I see the world or the way that I feel. And when you're on stage and you're perfectly expressing yourself, it's like an amazing feeling, and your hairs on your arms stand up, and it's just a magical feeling. And so I know how beautiful that is. I want to help other people achieve that feeling, and so that's why I start from that place. What is it that you're going through, and how can we express that?
What is the most thing inspiring you when you compose a melody?
Wow. I think, I really like haunting melodies. It's with a little bit of sadness. I like...
Can you say something?
Can I sing something?
Sing something.
Okay.
Sad melody.
I'll sing you a song that me and my friend Prince wrote recently. It's a lullaby, and it sort of starts off, pretty and happy, and then it moves into a minor section. You want to sing it with me?
Come, join us.
Dare you?
Sweet little baby. Oh, come.
Come, join us.
Come.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Open the video selfie and sing it together.
Sweet little baby, you'll be forever mine. If you're scared, don't you cry, it's alright. Hold on now, baby, don't you cry. I'll take your tears and wipe them dry. Just keep my whisper in your ear. I'll never leave you, I'm always here. Sweet little baby, sweet little babe of mine. Sweet little baby, you'll be forever mine. If you're scared, don't you cry, it's alright. Hold on now, baby, don't you cry. I'll take your tears and wipe them dry. Just keep my whisper in your ear. I'll never leave you, I'm always here. A melody that I really love, and I think my favorite melodies, the melodies that I find the most beautiful, have like this haunting quality to them.
What's coming next?
So at the moment I have a new EP called Holy, which is out, and you can listen to it on Spotify and Apple Music and all of the different digital distributors. You can also grab it from my website, shelleysegal.com, and all of my CDs are up on the website. And so I'm promoting that record at the moment. I'll be dropping singles from it. I'll be doing shows in Australia and in the US promoting that new EP. And then I'm going to be spending the next few months working on 2 new projects. One is a collaborative piece with Prince Chapell, my friend who was joining me on that last song. And so we've got a whole an album's worth of material that we will be recording and releasing, which I'm really excited about. And I'm also working on a collaborative project with a biologist from the Northwest and of America in Tacoma, and we've written a project about the Puget Sound watershed, and it's conservation and environmentalism inspired EP. So we want to educate people about this amazing area and all the animals that live there, and also, you know, hopefully inspire people to care more about the biodiversity of our planet and the problems that they face. So 2 projects that are very, very special to my heart I will be producing and working on, and then I'm just going to be, you know, touring as always, out on the road with my partner Rob Robertson. He plays guitar with me, and yeah, so just touring and singing and playing as always. And then I also have a Patreon subscription service where I put up new music pretty much every week for my subscribers. So I'm always making new songs for that. Take your tears and wipe them dry. Just keep my whisper in your ear. I'll never leave